And we're back for another episode. In this episode, we're going to be doing the level 78 Reaper quest in Final Fantasy XIV. And as always, hello from Mithrie. So, we are here in the Luminaries headquarters in Aldar, and we need to talk to Drusilla. The quest is called Thicker Than Blood. So, Drusilla seems relieved to see you walk through her door unscathed. So, glad to see Orcus hasn't sunk his teeth into you yet, Mithrie. Don't go thinking that he's given up on trying, though. He's out there savoring you from a distance. Can't resist checking in on his prize. Just as he can't resist seeking out morsels to tide him over till his feast. The reports we received of a man pale as death skulking about the sands is proof of that. And then there's the matter of this blunted dagger. We don't know who sent it, but we do know what it means. It's a warning commonly used by the less savoury elements in Aldar. A warning that the next will be delivered sharp and straight to our bellies. More fool them. They've no notion of what we faced and lived, thinking we'd soil our small clothes over empty threats. Let's hope it's nothing more than that, lass, seeing as we need to follow up on those reports sooner than later. Anyone fancy a bit of fresh air? If we catch a whiff of Orcus's foul stench, all the better. Mithrie, I want you to ask around near Blackbrush Station, and I'll head to Stone's Throw. When you're done, meet me there. We'll share what we've dug up. Cool. So, Blackbrush Station, I should be able to teleport straight there. Let's do that now. But I was able to, as you can see, get 2/3 already through 78 by just grinding fates in Calusia. Alright, so where are we going? Yeah. The Loyal Luminary. So I recognize that self-assured stride, the mark of a woman ready to take on the world and then some. You must be the Orsian Reaper the boss sent word about. I'm almost disappointed to tell you nothing is amiss. The soldier in me would have loved to see a Reaper in action. I once fought in the Imperial Army, though you wouldn't think of it to look at me now. I served proudly under Lord Valens in my youth, until the day he ordered us to use common folk as fodder in some pointless skirmish. I refused and was sentenced to death for my candour. Needless to say, I didn't keep that appointment. Compared to that evil, toothless threats and ghosts are no bother, but the less jaded are more excitable. One lass in particular has been jumping at shadows. She claims to have seen all manner of terrors, and I suspect that she'd be startled by her own reflection. Still, if you want to lend an ear to her delusions, you can find her in Lost Hope. Okay. So, let's go now and catch up with the elegant woman. Okay, so we caught up with this elegant woman. Let's talk to her. So, hello, who are you? Oh, did Drusilla receive my missive? She sent someone to rid us of this terrible evil waiting in the wings. Truly she cares for us as if we really were her flesh and blood, which is more than I can say about my own. Not once have I longed to return to the life of comfort I left behind in Garlemald, and I have Drusilla to thank for that. She isn't the reason I left home in the first place, of course. Had I not met my beloved, I would likely still be feasting on lemon cakes in ignorance. In ignorance of love, of freedom. I found the former in Garlemald and the latter in Eorzea, as our new life blossomed into something beautiful. Not every day has been easy, not even most days, but Drusilla's watchful eye has kept us safe, and our freedom is worth any measure of hardship. Such terrible fear gripped my heart when my beloved told me of the pale man he spied on the sands. But now that the family has come to help, I can breathe a sigh of relief. I am sure you wish to know precisely where to find that horrid creature. I cannot help help half so well as my beloved might. Seek him in the southeast and pray put an end to this nightmare. Okay. So we have to go there. Right, let's catch up with her beloved. Okay, so we caught up with him, so let's talk to him. So, through Deviled Mist, a hunter doth now tread, tracking the scent of quarry others dread. In darkest night cry for a keeper, oh by your side she walks the reaper. Apologies for the effusive display, friend. I'm a poet, you see, and cannot resist putting into words the flood of emotions that accompanies such a striking figure as yours. Uh-oh. Akadakalaka. Monster. Yeah. The bloodlust emanating from this void sen is potent and powerful. Okay. Right, let me summon my chocobo. Oh, I'm getting the wrong one. Yo. No one else doing the quest, so let's talk to this person. Thank you, my savior, my godsend. Would that I could have aided you, but alas, a poet's pen is of little use in battle. Unless, of course, that battle involves not swords and sighs, but words. Just ask the sire of my beloved, who is even now licking the wounds dealt by the investive verse I composed after he had the gall to forbid our union. A masterwork of scathing metaphor and subtle remonstration. Alas, for all their pretensions, nobles are anything but subtle in their rage. We were forced to flee and abandon our homes with only our love for sustenance. Nevertheless, I've regretted not a single moment of our life in exile. In the Eorzea we found an unexpected treasure, freedom. Freedom of mind and freedom of heart. But I digress. Surely you did not seek me out to simply save my life and leave me with a nod and a smile. Did you wish to commission a poem? That pale man. Aye, I encountered him whilst wandering these arid wastes in search of inspiration. I felt the gaze of some terrible presence upon my back, and when I turned to meet it, he was standing there, grinning like a butcher in a bullpen. He wore robes much too thick for these scorched sands, and his skin looked as if it had never been kissed by the blazing sun. Worst of all, his eyes were as two bottomless pools of blood. I feared my end had come, but then he vanished as quickly as he had appeared. Perhaps I've been reckless. Recent incidents make it clear that the cost of inspiration is higher than I'm willing to pay. I shall return to my beloved for both my safety and hers. Thank you again, my saviour. Fair enough. Alright, so let's now go back to Drusilla. Okay, so we caught up with Drusilla. Let's talk to her. So there you are. And another one of his accursed minions. Well, I suppose we can take comfort in the fact that none of the family came to harm, yourself included. Well done. Speaking of which, what do you think of this family you've been thrust into? Speak freely. I haven't lived this long by taking offense at opinions I don't want to hear. I'm surprised that you've all survived this long. Seems like any other family to me. Doesn't matter what I think, does it? Yeah, let's go for the rude and mean response. It takes more than brute strength for folks to survive. None of them were fit for life under the Empire's boot, and that's good enough for me. Much as some enlightened types might tell you otherwise, people like to have a say in the life they lead. That's what separates us from those bugs over there. Born queens, workers, drones, spread into roles ingrained so deeply that they wouldn't know how to live otherwise, for the glory and prosperity of the hive. To be fair, if bees were that big in real life, that would be scary. But we've got it in us to be different. Might be born into farming, soldiering, or politicking, but we can choose to walk a different path whenever the fancy should strike. Taking our nature to accept our lot without question. No, we have to believe in something, put our faith in it. Only then will we deign to march in step. And indeed, faith of a savage stripe is one way to get us dancing to the same tune. Others might be compelled through faith in logic or law, intangible, invisible, yet cause enough for killing and conquering if it suits the queen. The invaders have sullied our birthright for 8 centuries. No longer. We march for Locus Amonis. With a few righteous words, his radiant solace, Zolgalvus, whipped the hive into a frenzy. Once that fire is burning, the passion of the masses can't soon be quelled. What was once a wish for home became a holy mission to spread enlightenment. Enlightenment which would not suffer such beliefs as the beastmen held. Countless scores rendered up their lives on the altar of the Empire, until an entire continent was united under a single Magitech fist. For those who still dream the dream of unity, a deed worthy of song, yet some awoke to see it for the tyranny it was, my grandfather Rolus included. The talents of the Reapers are passed down through bloodlines. Rulus was the best of us, the most accomplished and feared in the Order's long history. The duty of the Reapers, our role in the Hive, if you will, was to deliver our countrymen from corrupt and power-hungry tyrants. When Garlemald found religion in conquest, its appetite grew to be insatiable. My grandfather pondered this conundrum for many sleepless nights, and came to a decision. He would relieve Solus Zos Galvus of his life. "20 years ago, he slipped into the darkest chambers of the Imperial Palace, silent as a shadow until he could hear the Emperor's beating heart. When Rolus returned to me, Solus was alive and well. My grandfather, on the other hand, had a skittishness to his step, and his black hair had turned a pale white. He said naught of his encounter with the Emperor, save that the most powerful man in Garlemald was no man at all. Ashamed in his defeat, my grandfather saw greater power. Bit by bit, he gave more of himself over to the voice sent behind his avatar. Orcus struck when Rolus was weakest. taking his flesh and soul in one fell swoop. When he was finished, not a more of my grandfather remained in the body. There was only Orcus. The fiend flew into rapturous frenzy, and my family were his first victims. I remember the chill of his teeth sinking into my flesh, gnawing until they reached my very essence. How am I standing here before you then? Oh, Orcus gorged on a soul that night, but it wasn't mine, not exactly. It was my avatar that filled his belly. Seems that all he could stomach. Some might consider that a lucky twist of fate, but I had little time to ponder my fortune. Fled soon as I was able. His radiance never looked kindly on those trying to end his life or their families. I wandered about for years until I settled here and started seeking out others like me. Others who had awoken from the Empire's dream. Lumaries is what we call the spirits of the dead in the Garlean tongue. A fitting moniker if there ever was one. Waking up from a long sleep ain't unlike climbing out of the grave. I can attest to that. Son of a bleeding, remind me not to give such long-winded speeches when the sand is blowing in my face. I'm heading back for some ale. See you at headquarters. Yeah, I did start to think that this was becoming quite long. Alright, let's head back to the headquarters. Welcome back, boss. How was the family? Shaken but unharmed aside from some tousled hair and mangled verse. Orcus left one of his minions behind as a gift, but Mithrie made quick work of it. I always said that she was a keeper. You have an eye for the fierce of heart. I wagered that she could slay Orcus all on her own. Not that we'd let her take all the glory. Of course we wouldn't. We will all be there when Orcus tries to take his prize. I don't think we'll be waiting long either. Orcus said that he'd strike when Mithrie was ripe with fear and hatred and despair. Seasonings he's loath to forego. I have an inkling how he might try to draw out those emotions and finish off. Right you are, Drusilla. How many nights did you mourn your lost avatar? The wellspring of power, I must say, it was quite the dish. I think not. Move as much as a finger and her head will hit the floor. Oh, that's it, Mithrie. That fire. I want to see it burn. I want to see it rage. I want to see the hatred sweep into the depths of your soul. Shall I make this Drusilla's final breath? Or this one? It's so very hard to choose. I was right not to give in to my baser instincts, to allow the thought of your taste to simmer in my mind as you and Drusilla formed a bond, a kinship even. Born from an understanding of her unconsequential ideas, that you may better appreciate the bitter loss. But perhaps I should wait a while longer to let the flavor of your hatred mature and the tang of your malice ripen. I can make use of Drusilla yet. Revel in her screams. Exalt her in her misery. Ah, how splendid it will be. All the while, my prize piglet growing fat with loathing and succulent with terror. The patience rewards a dutiful gourmand after all. When your tantalizing flavor has fully matured, I shall return, and I shall reap my harvest. Oh, alright. Let's talk to Herman. So, goddamn it, voice and bastard. Soulless piece of shite. We need to think, Herman. Swive that sodding demon spawn. Orcus is going to pay for this. Aye, that's the spirit. Right, we need a plan. First things first, find out where Orcus is hiding. The rest of the family should be able to help with that. In the meantime, you need to prepare. I know you're good, Mithrie, but we can't leave the boss's life to chance. Sharpen your skills and your scythe, and then sharpen them once more. The boss can do naught against Orcus without her avatar. That means that you'll have to do the heavy lifting. Of course, I'll do what I can to afford you an advantage. You can count on that for Drusilla. Cool. Complete. Alright, so we'll come back to this once I'm level 80 as a Reaper. So anyway, guys, that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching, and as always, goodbye from me, and goodbye from Mithrie. Bye, guys.